We're getting ready to replace the faucet in this sink here. We've got a Moen Lindor 84505. It's a single handle faucet, and it has the 3-plate or the single hole for whichever sink that you have. This is the exact faucet that's in here, and I did that because I want the hookup to the lines coming out of the wall to be the exact same. We've got the fittings that adapt to these hoses on here. The problem with the sink that we're replacing, or the faucet that we're replacing, is the hot water line is almost completely calcified to the point that hot water just dribbles out. Tried taking off the aerator that will be on the inside bottom of the faucet right here, to no avail, to try and get some of that hard water out, and opened up this hot water line right here earlier and found it almost completely clogged. So it's time for a new faucet. That's what happens when you've got hard water. So come in close here and I'll show you what we're gonna do. So to begin with, we're gonna make sure the water is turned off back here. Cold will usually be on the right, hot usually on the left. Just snug them down nice. I wanna be real gentle with these because you don't wanna break them. And then I'm just gonna grab a crescent wrench right here from my bag, and we've got this fitting. This silver hose goes to the sink, and the white hose comes from the wall. This one has a nice little thumb grip on it. So we're just gonna undo this. No pressure here, but still, yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of water that comes out. So I have it over the trash can so that it can drain. Gonna do the same thing with the cold water, just double check that I did get that one off. Grab the wrench, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And of course, if you're backwards, it's gonna look different. Just like that. Now opening up the sink, I'll allow these lines to drain right here because it lets air in. Now, I'm gonna crawl up under here and disassemble the sink. And something I like to do when I install sinks, or faucets, I mean. Okay, and this one's starting to leak again, so I'm gonna throw this back up here. This is the tool from whenever this sink was installed. So I always like to keep them down into the sink because they don't take up much room, and sometimes it is the only tool that will let you take it in and out easily. Alright, so there is the old faucet, and turns out this new one is a shiny chrome instead of the old nickel plate, which is fine, I guess. But I was expecting to be able to just do a direct replacement, not have to remove this guy right here. But turns out this one's a little different color. Also, they've changed the design on this thing, so it no longer has a sink plug on the back of here, like this one did. Like this, I prefer this design if you're asking me, but they have now a little push to seal. So that means that under here, we're gonna be replacing this piece right here because it no longer needs this little actuator here. So that's what we're gonna do now. This thing right here will just unscrew. It's all calcified up. Doesn't help. If it doesn't come undone, you can always use a pair of channel locks right here like that. So that's gonna come undone like that. This one's gonna come undone like so. And this one up here. And then this sink plug up here. Okay, just popped out of there. Under here now, we're gonna unscrew this guy. So what I'm doing here is disconnecting the drain. So I'm turning it down below and holding it up top until I've kind of broken that. Then this thing unthreads, you can see, as I hold it with chain locks on the bottom. Then that thing disconnects right there. That'll slip down. This thing will continue to unthread. Then this washer can get pulled down, and this piece will slip out the top of the sink. There we go. Look at all that pretty stuff. Take this old sink part out of here, you know. We better clean out the trap. This is always kind of a exciting, disgusting job. You never know what's in here. You never know what you're gonna find, okay? Not crazy. How a P-trap works, by the way, is any water above this point right here goes down and pushes, gravity pushes it over and under. And then what happens is water sits right here and creates a complete trap so that you don't breathe the whole sewer system if you're on city water, so you don't get those stinky smells coming up through your house. Or if you're on a septic, you aren't smelling your septic all the time. So you'll notice like in a toilet as well, it goes up and down like that, and water sits in there so that you aren't smelling the septic. In a shower, when a shower drains, this could be the shower floor here, and it drains right down into here, and it goes up and out. Okay, so this will be full of water. It'll be full of nasty water. If you have a drain problem with your sink, most likely this is going to be where it's at, and it's going to be a very simple fix. You can see I don't need any tools to take this apart. It's all these little spinny thread fittings. This is the fitting that went up on top of this and then goes up to the sink drain connector. So this is about to get exciting. Not too bad. I have seen these pretty clogged full before. Okay, there's some sand and sediment. Heaviest objects will go in here. And if you're having a problem like with heavy dirt buildup, something you can do is fill a sink full of water and then open it. And the rush of water and the weight of the water, kind of like how a toilet works, it fills it up and then flushes it through, will kind of wash that through. But it's also pretty easy to change. I've seen some of these things clogged so far. The sink takes a lot of time to drain while the drain is even open. So kind of knock that out there. Like I said, this drain didn't really need it. If you shave and wash whiskers down the sink, oftentimes they'll build up in here and you have to really clean it. So that fits back in there. I'm gonna leave that loose for now. Just kind of snug it up so that I can still turn it while I line it for the new sink drain going in. But then once we're all done in here, we'll make sure everything's all snug and tight. This is the little tool for the new one, and it's the little end for this particular one. It goes up there. You can screw that in with a handle. It gets you down below the sink. Then to tighten it up, you just send a screwdriver through and use that as your leverage. Basically makes a T-handle. Like I said, I like to throw these under the sink so that you have the tool to take it apart that you use to put it together. So now we're going to put the sink drain in, and how this piece goes here is this is going to go up here, and this piece right here will go on the inside of the sink, drop down through like that. This little rubber flange will go up from the bottom side and chase it like so, and then this piece will go screwing up and tighten that down to the sink. Then this piece will slip down into this piece right here, which will be under the sink like so. Under the sink, this gasket right here goes up underneath on this piece. Wedges right in there like that. Then this piece right here goes up and lines right into that gasket. These gaskets are usually pretty good, and you don't have to require any sealant like you would on a stainless sink when you're setting a drain, which is very handy. I'm gonna tighten this down real snug. That gasket seals really good. Just gonna check it on the top, make sure it's a nice seal right there, and that's looking good. You can see it kind of bent that down to form the shape of the bottom of the sink. Now we're going to take this little screw fitting right here, slip it up on there, and this guy chases him. Pointed side of the gaskets go towards the fittings. Then this guy will chase him up there, like so. The P-trap will swivel around. This guy will descend. He has a washer right here. That'll slip down, and this guy will descend on here, and he'll tighten down. Now we're all connected here. You can see why I left it loose, just so we can get the perfect alignment out of here. And everybody snugged up and happy. He's tight, and he's tight. Okay, that's feeling really solid. Now we've got the fresh water lines to hook up. On this particular one, this one's the hot water line. It has a little paper tag up there saying hot water line on this. We're gonna take these guys, remember, we're gonna clean that one out first. This guy goes right on here. There's already built-in washer right here. So these will just get tightened down to each other. And then of course, give them a nice little snug turn with the crescent wrench. There's that one. I'm gonna take a little pick and clean the hard water deposits out of this one so that we get unrestricted flow as much as possible. Could also soak this in some vinegar for a little while if I had patience, but I want to get it done right now. So I'm just breaking it off. Those are attached. We're ready to turn the water back on. Once again, carefully turn it on. It's nice. I heard it start and then I did not hear any continuation of flow. You can hear that one, same thing. That's a good sign right off. And then I'm just gonna check these fittings, make sure there's no leaks, and just keep an eye on them. If you use the sink for a little while, just make sure it's staying nice and dry, because there's always a chance of leak at these, but they're feeling good. Before I turn the faucet on, because we were messing with hard water and stuff, I'm gonna take this little tool that comes with it. I'm gonna take out the aerator. So you just stick it up in there, unscrew it like so. You can see that little screen comes out, and that will get all clogged up with all the hard water and stuff. So I'm gonna take that out, run the water for a little while, then put this back in there, and that'll keep it from just clogging that thing immediately. That's done. I'm just gonna kind of hold my hand over it so it doesn't spew everywhere. Gonna thread this thing back in here. We've got some cold, and we've got some hot, and we've got warm. Not seeing any drips whatsoever. I'm gonna try plugging the sink and letting a bunch of water down. I'm not seeing any leaks under the sink, so I'm gonna watch it then while we drain it. It's all filling dry. Changing the faucet, changing the sink plug, something easy you can do. It doesn't require a ton of tools. Took a couple crescent wrenches and a screwdriver is all that I needed. Instead of calling somebody to do it next time, maybe look into doing it yourself, save yourself a few bucks and have a good time doing it.